Hello Proponomics people, and welcome to the longer form explainer video for my 4 pillars of property investment video this week, which is about the supply pipeline, the first pillar of my 4 pillars. If you missed the explainer video last week, go back and check it out on the playlist. This is about where the strategy came from and gives you some kind of breakdown of the 4 pillars and what you can expect to be seeing over the course of this video series every Wednesday in 2024. So today I'm going to talk about the deals side, the supply pipeline, and why it's so important. I know that might seem self-evident, but ultimately, what are we considering here? We're thinking about where we get deals from, or perhaps who we're working with in order to get deals. And people will tell you, and you should listen if they do, that property is a people-focused game. It can become very transactional. You can attempt to approach auction, for example, for any property you like. They're in the open auction market and they're going to sell to the highest bidder, in theory anyway. So why don't you just go along? You don't need to talk to anybody at all, turn up to the viewings and bid for the properties in an auction. Well, you can do, but I can tell you for free, you're going to pay more than you should do. You're not going to see some of the traps that other people might warn you off about if you have a relationship with them, and there's a ton of other reasons as well. So why consider the supply side so important? Well, there's many a property portfolio that's been built by people earning excess money or saving their excess money, making significant sacrifices, and then going down the traditional route of buying a property with what in this day and age would probably look like a 75% loan to value mortgage. And that means you're going to need to be able to find 25% as a deposit. You're also going to need to be able to find at least 3% additional stamp duty, depending on how high the purchase price is of that property. And you're going to need to pay any other frictional costs, such as the costs of a conveyancing lawyer, the costs of a mortgage broker, and all of those things. So that's all well and good. Let's say that 25% plus costs adds up to around about 40k. That's great if you've got 40k saved, but if you have, once that 40k has been deployed, you might be making a net rental income of perhaps £400 a month, let's say, or maybe even £1,000 a month if you've got a particularly high yielding property or a particularly highly cash flowing property. You might be making £1,000 a month. Even if you were, it's still going to take you another 40 months to get that initial £40,000 back so that you can repeat the process and go again. So you'd be waiting the thick end of 4 years. That's fine. As I say, many portfolios have been built like that. And, using your spare cash, if you're a high earner, setting it aside, using it as a savings vehicle rather than a pension, as opposed to a pension, all of those are tried and tested routes, and all of those work. And one of the great secrets of investment, especially in property, especially if you keep your risk down at the lower end of the risk side of things, is that time is a great healer. Even when you do make mistakes, which you will do, it's absolutely inevitable. As long as you've got enough time, then that's fine. But none of us have got infinite time. And of course, we'll all watching this video be different ages as well. So we need to consider what we want to achieve in what time frame. And if you want to be able to do a bit more than rely on the property itself to replace that 40k, or there's another reason why you don't want to wait as long as you might do, you might try and be leaving less money behind in a property purchase. Now, you'll have heard, I'm sure, about buy, refurbish, refinance. It has so many R's after it these days. I lose track, to be honest with you. But the point is, that's a way of buying a property and not leaving all of your money behind when you refinance it. In the ideal world, you pull out all of your initial investment or even some money on top, which is an incredible situation to be in. It's a situation I found myself in several times when I was able to pull money out on top. And it's fantastic because it's also legitimately not taxable money. It can be reinvested by the company if you're using a limited company, which I do, or if you're in your personal name, you could even spend the money. That would be the worst thing you could do with that debt, to be clear, but you would be able to do that. So these are reasons why we need to consider the supply of properties as a real strategic pillar of our property investment strategy. As I say, it might sound obvious, but what probably isn't immediate obvious to you is if you look at this on a spreadsheet in a financial model, if you produce one, if you get any financial advisors or accountants that you've got to produce one for you, or an analyst to model it out for you, the difference in what you leave behind and how quickly you can grow your portfolio and or how much extra income you can make just by shaving off, as I said earlier, if you had a £400 a month cash flowing property and you needed that 40k to come back before you could buy another property, even if the price of that property didn't go up, you're going to wait 100 months to do another deal, which is a little bit over 8 years and 4 months. The difference between that and buying one that cash flows £1,000 a month is that you only need to wait 40 months, which is 3 years, 4 months. That will make a massive difference to you. But imagine when you can buy them and not leave any money behind, then all you've got to do is wait for the process to be completed. So buy the property, make it into the best thing it can be, refinance it and pull your initial investment back out. And then you've got all that initial investment, that seed capital, to go again, perhaps within 6 to 9 months, or perhaps even faster. And this is the whole point of the 4 Pillars series. I'm going to be giving you some deeper insight into how have I managed to get these deals over the years? Where do they come from? What do they look like? And what can that mean for your portfolio? Hope you enjoy.